my friends? How's day 112 of No Excuses 2024 going for you? Were you able to just get right up today and attack your day? Or was it a bit of a struggle? You still struggling? Know this, that when you face the issues in your life, the hard things, the hardships, the struggles, you end up seeing them struggles as not a detriment, but a lesson, right? You can advance past it. And then once you see that you made it through that struggle, because I know in times of my life, there were times when, there were situations where I didn't think I'd ever get over it, right? Like my divorce, for one, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck, my family's done and blah, 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 blah. What am I going to do now? I had no possessions, I left, drug addiction, ODing in front of fucking people, like crazy shit, court cases where I was facing years at a time, like it felt like it was the end of the world, right? And I struggled with those things daily, right? Because that's all I put all my energy into, was thinking about all the terrible ways that these things could turn out, so I was ruining the here and now on a future that 99.99% of those times never came to fruition, right? Like things happened for sure, but they were never as bad as I thought they were going to be, Some of them were pretty bad, don't get me wrong, but they weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. They weren't, unsurmountable, right? I could navigate them, even when sometimes those situations came with jail time. I knew how long I had. I knew when I'd be getting out right around that time frame. And I knew, what I had to do to get through it. And, a lot of times I thought I figured out how to not return. But, I haven't returned in, it'll be 20 years next year. The end of next year will be 20 years since I've had to do time. That's not to say that I haven't had like a couple arrests for minor stuff, misdemeanors, mostly traffic things, or situations where I had to go in front of a judge, tickets, stuff like that. Or jackpots. I've had a few of those, since that time, but I never ended up with the threat of going to jail. It was like, all right, buddy, calm the fuck down. Don't do this for 6 months and you'll be all right. Pay this fine. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I found, that, everything was a struggle in my past. Everything was impossible. It was the end of the world. It was the end of everything I had known to, blah, 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 right? But it wasn't. All of it was a new beginning. All of it was a new opportunity. All of it was a lesson that if I calmed down for one moment, took a pause, I could have learned from. I didn't take that time before because, again, I've said this before, it was always somebody else's fault. Everything was somebody else's fault. Even the stuff that was somebody else's fault was still my fault because I was in that situation, you can't do much about your childhood, your upbringing, maybe getting bullied, whatever it was, right? You can't do much about that. Abuse from people that you trusted, physical, sexual, verbal abuse, whatever it was, We've all had fucking hard lives, But you can't do anything about that. But it's what you do from that, right? Do you play the victim because of those things all the time? I know I did. I played the victim all the time. Oh, I had a roach in my ear as a child. I had to get it sucked out at Mass Eye and Air, which is true. But and? So what, I have the right to sell cocaine, smack women, or, not pay my rent, or not have a job, or drive drunk, right? I came from a poor neighborhood, and I was one of only, a few black kids and families in the projects, and we got bullied, and I got bullied. Okay, and Now what though? You know what I mean? Like, I use that victimhood, or alleged victimhood, as currency. I say it all the time. And, so those struggles became lessons, right? And those lessons became the blessings in my life because I could see past the bullshit. I go, oh, okay. All right, so I have to climb this hill, get to the top of this, and then there's probably going to be another hill to climb after that, right? And that's okay. That's okay, I use everything for a lesson. Sometimes I don't see the lesson at first. Sometimes I see the problem instead of, what caused the problem, how I can get around the problem. And like once I got around it, I'm like, damn, I fucking did that. You know what I mean? It's all within us. It's all within us. It's within you. Change is possible and change is necessary. I said in another video, I'm a late bloomer. I was an early bloomer for all the bad shit. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, violence, crime, courts, juvie lockup, adult lockup. You know what I mean? I was an early bloomer on that shit. I was top of class. But today, even that stuff I can learn a lesson from. Not to say that a lot of those times weren't enjoyable. But at the end, when you're by yourself, there's no longer a party going on, right? Nobody's coming over, nobody's calling, you got no money, you're miserable, and you're alone. All alone. That's how I chose to get high, was alone. Because I didn't have to share, I didn't have to worry about anybody else saying this or doing that. At first, my addictions, they kept me social, it kept me partying, it kept me with groups of people and in conversation, and at the end, I was all by myself, basically dying. I was physically unfit, mad overweight, always sweat. I'm sweating now, but I'm exercising. But, and just death was knocking on my front door, and luckily I didn't answer. And so here I am today, learning the lessons, gathering the blessings, and moving on. Day 112, my friends. No excuses 2024. Already at the end of the 16th week of 2024. Not a lot of time left, man. Get started today. If you didn't get started yesterday, get started today. I'll talk to you when I talk to you. Like, subscribe, and share. If you made it this long, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Talk to you. Peace.